Picture this. You're doing a grocery run at 11 p.m. because you forgot something, like a functioning adult who plans their meals in advance. The store is mostly empty, just you, one very tired employee who wants you to leave, and about 9,000 square feet of fluorescent lighting doing its best impression of a migraine. You cut through the back aisle near the storage selection, one of those long, slightly wrong-feeling corridors that every big store has. No products, just shelving units and a floor that always seems slightly more industrial than it should be. You take a shortcut through a gap in the shelving, and your foot goes through the floor. Not a hole, not a trapdoor, not a tile that was loose. Your foot passes through solid ground like it was a suggestion, like reality just shrugged. Your knee follows, then your hip, then the rest of you. No falling, no impact, no transition at all. 1 second you're thinking about whether you need more eggs, the next second you're somewhere else entirely, and eggs are the least of your problems. You just no-clipped into the back rooms. Oh, hey there. I'm your host, somehow still corporeal, and this is the part where I walk you through exactly what your body and brain would experience if you fell out of reality and into the world's worst office building. And here's the thing about no clipping out of reality. It's not the monsters you should be worried about. It's the biology. Your nervous system was not built for this, not even a little. Let's break down what no clipping in the back rooms would actually feel like, starting from the exact second physics stopped cooperating. Let's talk about what just happened to your brain, because here's where it gets weird. You didn't fall. There was no gap to fall through. You didn't teleport, because teleportation implies a start and an endpoint. This was just removal. Your brain, which has spent your entire life assuming that solid floors are solid, is now running a full diagnostic and getting nothing back but error messages. Your vestibular system, that's the equipment in your inner ear that tracks balance and spatial position, basically your body's built-in GPS, is completely fried. It's sending your brain information about where you are in space. Your eyes are sending different information. Neither of them makes sense. The result is immediate, overwhelming vertigo. The room is tilting even though the room is not tilting. Here's the fun part. Your body's fight or flight response doesn't need to know what the threat is. It just needs to know that something is catastrophically wrong, and something is catastrophically wrong. So within about a half a second, your adrenal glands dump a full load of adrenaline and cortisol into your bloodstream. Heart rate rockets from wherever it was to about 140 beats per minute. Pupils blow wide open. Blood gets redirected from your skin and your gut to your muscles. Your hands go cold. Your stomach drops like you're on a roller coaster that has no plans to stop. You're primed to either fight something or run from something. And there's nothing to fight and nowhere to run, because everywhere is the same. That's almost worse. You are standing in a hallway. The walls are yellow, not a nice yellow, a tired yellow. The yellow of a doctor's waiting room that last saw a renovation around 1987. The floor is carpet, that specific damp brownish pattern from every school hallway and budget hotel corridor where nobody has updated anything since 1994. The smell is old, musty, something between wet paper and a room that's been sealed for a very long time. Above you, fluorescent lights run the full length of the ceiling. They hum, not dramatically, just constant, low, all-frequency buzz you feel in your back teeth more than you hear. No windows, no clocks, no doors in the direction you came from. The hallway bends around a corner far ahead. The hallway also continues the other direction and bends around a different corner. You cannot see around either of them. This is level 0, the entry point, the back rooms at its most basic, and it already feels physically incorrect in a way you cannot name. Great, off to a wonderful start. Alright, here's the timeline. Because this is not a quick situation, this is a process, and it's not a good process. The first 10 seconds. Okay, so you are not okay. Your brain is doing rapid fire diagnosis. Power outage? No, there's power. Hallucination? From what? Dream? You're definitely awake, unfortunately. Prank? Where are the cameras? Some kind of mental break? Possible. You'd almost prefer it. Your brain cycles through every explanation it has in about 4 seconds and lands on none of them. What's left is pure, undiluted panic with nowhere to put it. You might shout. You will definitely spin around looking for the gap you came through. There isn't one. The floor where you entered is completely solid. You can stomp on it. Nothing. Reality closed behind you like water over a stone. Your breathing is fast and shallow. You're hyperventilating before you've consciously decided to. The fluorescent lights hum. The hallway does nothing. The initial panic starts cooling slightly, not because things are fine, but because adrenaline has a shelf life and your body can't sustain maximum terror forever. Your cognitive function starts to come back online. You begin to think semi-strategically. Where am I? Where is the exit? Where are other people? You start walking, because standing still feels worse. The carpet squishes very slightly under your shoes. Not wet, just not dry. Your brain registers this as wrong. It is wrong. Every corner you turn reveals another hallway. Same yellow walls. Same fluorescent lights. Same hum. Same carpet. Same variation. No exits, no windows. You check your phone. No signal. Obviously, because you're not in a place that has cell towers. The clock still works. It says 11:23 p.m. That feels useful, in the way that knowing your boat is sinking at a precise angle feels useful. You check the battery, 61%. You immediately put it in low power mode. You have never cared about 61% of anything more in your entire life. Here's where things get subtly but significantly worse. Your brain has now been stuck in a loop. Hallway, corner, same, for long enough that it starts doing something called derealization. That's a technical term. In plain language, your brain gets so overstimulated by a situation it can't process that it quietly begins to question whether the situation is real. The wall starts looking flat. The lights feel painted on. You feel like you're watching yourself from a few feet behind your own body. It's not quite hallucination. It's like the resolution on reality drops slightly and nobody told you. Also, you realize there are no clocks. There are no windows. There is no natural light. There is no way to tell time except your phone. And every hallway looks identical, which means you genuinely cannot tell if you've been walking in circles. You almost certainly have been walking in circles. Your heart rate hasn't gone back to normal. It's settled around 95 beats per minute. Elevated, sustained. That's burning through your energy reserves faster than you think. You're also starting to get thirsty. The Backrooms does not have a water fountain. I know that seems obvious. It's less obvious when you've been walking for 8 hours and your mouth tastes like the inside of a paper bag. Your lips are starting to crack. The human body loses about 2 liters of water per day just existing, breathing, sweating. You've been actively moving. You're losing more. After 24 hours without water, cognitive impairment begins. Real cognitive impairment. The kind where you make navigation errors and logic errors, and you cannot necessarily tell that you're making them because the thing doing the checking is the same thing that's broken. The fluorescent lights are still on. They are always on. They will never not be on. Your circadian rhythm, that's your body's internal clock. Basically the biological system that uses daylight to figure out when you should sleep and when you should be functional, is receiving no information it can use. The Backrooms has one light setting, full brightness, forever. Your body genuinely cannot tell if it has been awake for 8 hours or 32. It starts making bad decisions. You'll notice this by the quality of your thoughts, specifically by the increasing lack of them. You check your phone. Battery, 24%. You turn on airplane mode. You already have no signal, so this does basically nothing, but it feels like doing something, and right now, feeling like you're doing something is most of what you have. The clock says a time. You look at it. You look away. You cannot hold on to what it said. 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so this is where backroom survival stops being an exploitation problem and starts being a medical problem. 24 hours without sleep is comparable to a blood alcohol level of 0.10. That's legally drunk, in case you needed the comparison. Your reaction time is shot, your decision-making is compromised, and here's the fun part. You cannot accurately assess how compromised you are, because the thing doing the assessment is compromised. The hallucinations start around hour 30. Not dramatic ones, not entities with too many elbows, just peripheral movement. Something at the edge of your vision that isn't there when you look directly at it. Shadows that don't match the light source. Your brain, starved for novel stimulation and operating on no sleep, starts generating its own input. It is not doing a good job. By hour 48, the hallucinations have leveled up. You start hearing things underneath the hum. Sounds that might be footsteps, might be a voice. Might be your brain compositing random noise into a pattern because that's what brains do. They find patterns, even in nothing, because finding patterns kept your ancestors alive, and now it's making you think something is at the end of the hallway. Here's the thing about hearing footsteps when you are the only person in an infinite building with no exits. Your brain cannot tell if they're real. You have no way to verify it. Sleep deprivation has destroyed your ability to reality check your own perceptions, so your nervous system defaults to treat it as real. Treat everything as a threat. Paranoia fully sets in. You start moving slower, pressing against walls, stopping to listen, spending enormous amounts of mental energy on threat assessment for threats that may or may not exist, using a brain that is running on no water and no food and no sleep. The outputs are not reliable. You know this, technically. You cannot stop anyway. Your battery is at 3%. You turn the screen off to save it. Wait 30 seconds. Check again. 2%. You take a breath, turn it off again. Walk another hallway. Check. 1%. You do not turn it off again. You hold it, and you walk, and you watch the number, and you know what is coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. The screen shows the time, shows the date, shows the 1%. Then the screen goes dark. The hallway looks different without the glow. It looks like exactly what it is. Now you don't even have the clock. The final stage. Multiple systems are failing simultaneously. Biologically, that's called a cascade. Casually, that's called being in serious trouble. Severe dehydration causes muscle cramps that feel like something grabbing your calf from the inside, squeezing and absolutely not letting go. Your mouth is dry in a way that water seems like a concept you vaguely remember rather than a thing that exists. Your skin is tight across your face. Your headache stopped being a headache about 10 hours ago and became the permanent texture of consciousness. The worst part isn't the physical collapse, it's how quiet the brain gets before it. You stop being afraid. You stop making plans. You stop running the calculations about how many hallways you've tried and how many you haven't. The thoughts just slow, then thin. Then there are long stretches where there aren't really thoughts at all. Just the hum, just the yellow, just the carpet. Your legs decide, without discussion, that they are done. You sit against the wall. The carpet is damp under you. It smells like every waiting room you were ever stuck in. The lights hum exactly as they have hummed since the first second you arrived. The hallways extend in both directions, identical, unchanged, completely unaware that you are here, completely unaware of anything. You were hoping for a monster. At least a monster would mean something was here with you. You do not stand back up. So what does this actually feel like? Because you've done the science, let's talk about the experience. What's actually going on inside your head while all of this is happening to your body? At first, panic, the real kind. Not movie panic where you're scared but still articulate. The kind where your body is trying to do 6 things simultaneously and manages none of them. Your hands shake so badly you nearly drop your phone. Your breathing won't slow down no matter how many times you tell it to. Everything in your peripheral vision looks like something's moving. It is not moving. You check anyway. Then confusion. Sustained, unresolvable confusion. And here's what makes the Backrooms genuinely horrifying instead of just scary. The confusion has nothing to latch onto. There's no new information coming in, no clues, No changes, the same yellow walls, the same hum, the same carpet. Your brain is screaming for context and the Backrooms is not providing any. This is called sensory deprivation, and it is not fun. Studies on sensory deprivation show hallucinations starting within a few hours. The Backrooms is just a very large, very humid sensory deprivation chamber. Then your brain does something interesting, and not in a good way. It starts trying to make sense of things anyway, and it starts noticing the patterns of stains on the carpet. It starts assigning meaning to variations in the hum. It starts reading the shadows. You feel, briefly, like you are figuring something out, like you've noticed something important, like there's a system here and you're beginning to understand it. You are not figuring it out. That feeling is your brain confabulating, basically making up patterns because it literally cannot function without them. It would rather invent a pattern that isn't there than operate in a completely patternless environment. So it invents one, and you follow it, and it leads nowhere because it was never real. Then paranoia. Congratulations, you've now graduated from scared to specifically scared. The footsteps you can't explain, the shapes your eyes keep generating at the edges, the absolute, unshakable certainty that the space is not empty, even when you can see that it is. Even when you know you're alone. Even when you've been alone for 2 days. The feeling of being watched doesn't require a watcher. It requires a brain that is sleep-deprived and isolated and running threat detection on empty. That brain will find something to be afraid of. It will find it in nothing. Then exhaustion. Not tired, not sleepy. Exhaustion. The version where your body has burned through everything it had and started billing future reserves, and the invoice just arrived. Every thought is heavy. Every step costs more than it should. The carpet starts looking comfortable. Not comfortable like a bed. Comfortable like it's horizontal and you are very, very tired. If you are looking at damp carpet and thinking that seems fine, actually, that is a clinical warning sign. You are past several clinical warning signs. Then, eventually, numbness. The panic is expensive. The paranoia is expensive. Sustained fear burns through resources your body no longer has, so the brain starts shutting it off. Not peacefully, just because it cannot afford it anymore. What's left is very small and very quiet. The lights, the hum, the carpet, the hallways, and you sitting against a wall, which is yellow, which is always yellow. The disturbing part, the Backrooms doesn't need a monster. That's the actual punchline here. You've watched the found footage. You've read the fan wiki. You're worried about entities, things with wrong proportions, things that make sounds they shouldn't. And those things might be real, within the fiction, but they're not what kills you. What kills you is the building. What kills you is the complete and total absence of everything your body requires to survive, administered indefinitely, with no exit. No food means your body starts consuming its own muscle tissue within 48 hours. No water means death within 4 to 7 days. No sunlight means your melatonin regulation collapses. That's the hormone that runs your sleep cycle, and without it, your sleep cycle becomes a guess. No time cues means your brain loses its grip on duration. No other people means your social nervous system, which is a real biological system that requires regular input from other humans to function correctly, starts degrading in ways that make every other problem worse. You do not need to meet anything in the Backrooms. The Backrooms meeting you is enough. Studies on solitary confinement show measurable psychological damage within 3 to 5 days. Studies on sensory deprivation show hallucination within a couple of hours. The Backrooms is both, permanently with a hum on top. The liminal space isn't the setting, it's the weapon. Reality check? Here's the thing. The reason the Backrooms hit so differently than other horror concepts is because it's not really fiction, not the important parts. Human beings need food, water, sleep, light cycles, and other people to function. Remove any one of those things and you get predictable, documented, measurable damage. The Backrooms removes all of them. That's it. That's the whole design. It's not supernatural. It's just a building that happens to remove every single variable that keeps you alive, and then it doesn't let you leave. Every stage of this has a medical name. The derealization, the sleep deprivation hallucinations, the dehydration cascade, the paranoia from sustained threat assessment with no resolution. Real processes, real timelines, real outcomes. The Backrooms just gave them yellow wallpapers and a hum. So there you have it, what no clipping into the Backrooms would feel like. Not a monster story, a biology story. The kind where the building wins by doing nothing except existing and not letting you leave. Fun place. Watch where you step. Reality has always been thinner than it looks. Hit subscribe if you want to keep exploring the worst ways reality can break. I'll be here indefinitely. And if you've got a worse place to no clip into, a worse liminal nightmare, a worse inescapable hellhole than fluorescent lights and damp carpet forever, drop it in the comments. I'll ruin that one next.